They say you should keep your friends close and your enemies closer. But how close is too close? You share the changing room of football with your teammates, your friends, but also your main competitors. Today, we take a look at 5 players who may have lost the battle for a starting place at Manchester United. So first, we come to a man whose debut at Man United couldn't have gone any better. Back in 2015, a then unknown Anthony Martial announced his arrival in Manchester with a scintillating goal against arch-rivals Liverpool. Now, you would have thought that's enough to gain instant heroic status at Old Trafford, right? Well, not really. 2 years later, and having failed to hold down a regular starting spot, Martial is the first player on this list to fall to the competitive nature of the game. Whether it be as a left winger or a striker, Martial now has to compete with Rashford, Lukaku, Mkhitaryan, Lingard and potentially Ibrahimovic come January. So it seems whilst being part of a great football team is fantastic, but are you even a footballer if you don't even play football? Now, we know what you lot are going to say here. Yes, Martial did come on at the weekend and provide a goal and an assist in a superb cameo against United's opening day opponents West Ham. Still, we're not expecting it to change his fortunes over the campaign, even if it does show his quality. At least, given the events of this transfer window, it doesn't seem too ridiculous the £50 million United paid to Monaco for him a few years ago. Up next is one of 3 defenders on this list who may find the overload of defensive options at United far too much to handle in the search for regular games. Now, we have taken into account that a serious injury led to him missing most of last season's run-in. But before that, Rojo wasn't exactly a first-team regular at United. In 3 years at Manchester United, he's managed just 20 league appearances on average per season, and that's at either left-back or in the centre of defence. So when he returns to full fitness, he may find a return to the starting 11 more difficult than ever. In this United squad, we see him competing for a left-back spot, with the likes of Luke Shaw, Ashley Young, Daley Blind and even Matteo Darmian. Maybe it's time to move on and fulfill the early promise that his career had. But before we get on to the next 3 players who may struggle for a United future, we look at why the competition is so fierce within their own ranks. Well, there's one big reason for it: bigger squads. But why are they growing? Firstly, we have a rather obvious one: substitutions. Back in 1992, Tottenham's Norwegian goalkeeper Erik Thorstvedt became the first substitute to be used in the Premier League at a time when only 2 were allowed out of a possible 5. This meant that a team had a travelling matchday squad of 16 with only 13 taking part. Fast forward 25 years and Premier League squads now have 18 players with them on matchday and a possible 3 substitutes used out of 7. Even 4 if a cup match goes to extra time. Factor in a few injuries along the season and you can clearly see why first teams contain more than 20 potential players. I mean, for comparison, back in the first season of the Premier League, Manchester United had 18 players who made more than 1 appearance in the first team. Last season, they had 27. The other prominent factor is that England's top teams could be facing over 60 games per season if they're to challenge for all 4 trophies that they take part in. This means spreading your squad evenly, which in theory seems fair. However, if you're part of the young team that travels to Morecambe for a League Cup fixture, you do start to doubt your position in the ranks of the club. Still, let's just hope that a team doesn't buy players for the sake of it and hoard them just so that no one else can have them. Chelsea. So with that in mind, we return to the players still fighting the fight. Competing with Antonio Valencia and Ashley Young on the right, and Luke Shaw, Marcus Rojo and Daley Blind on the left, Matteo Darmian can be forgiven for looking to find his regular first team football elsewhere. Both Juventus and Inter Milan have been touted as potential suitors for the 27-year-old, although it seems Jose Mourinho is keen to keep him at the club, but probably more as a squad player than a first team starter. Entering his late 20s, we suggest that Darmian look elsewhere to make his impact at club level before even thinking about boarding the plane to Russia next summer with the Italian national team. Now, there must be nothing better when the manager has your back, and in this case, Fellaini can feel blessed to have the special one behind him, even if the fans aren't always. Within the whole squad, Fellaini is indeed a unique player. With his physical prowess, his strength, his one-of-a-kind hairdo and his flying elbows, you'd think we're pretty crazy for suggesting that he leaves. But the question remains, where is his best position? Now, we've already discussed the troubles that Martial faces to get into the forward spot, so we're not going to place him there. For the number 10 spot, United usually go with a nimble, agile, quick-footed player to dart in and out of the space in between the lines, something you wouldn't normally associate with Fellaini. So that leaves 2 spots left in the centre of midfield. And with Ander Herrera, the fan favourite turned club vice-captain and the phenomenal passer of the team, we don't see Marouane Fellaini fitting in there. So that leaves 1 spot left, the role of midfield enforcer. This is the position in the park where you must be strong, tough in the tackle, disciplined, and the most responsible individual of the team. Sounds perfect for Marouane Fellaini, right? Oh, and also for new £40 million man Nemanja Matic. We're sorry Marouane, but it looks like it's curtains for you. Last but not least on our list is a defender, but not just any defender. Upon his signing in 2014, Luke Shaw was the world's most expensive teenager. Having come off the seemingly never-ending production line at Southampton, big things were predicted for Luke Shaw's future. However, with a double having suffered a double leg break against PSV a few years ago, he's never really got back to the high levels that saw Manchester United pay £30 million for him. He has also attracted the wrong kind of comments from manager Jose Mourinho, who has questioned his fitness and at times his reading of the game. That's never a good sign. Still, we aren't saying that Shaw is a bad player. Far from it actually. He has excellent ball control, pace to burn and incredible defensive qualities for someone so young. Having returned to the United squad to find so many competitors in a similar position, we think Shaw could do no worse than look for his first team football elsewhere. Thankfully, time is on his side, and with a few full seasons under his belt, there is no reason why Luke Shaw can't return to the top of the English game. So those are our 5 players who could do no worse than looking for football away from Manchester United. Do you think we got it right? Who would you have chosen? Let us know in the comments below and don't forget to subscribe.